A number of Palestinian allies and admirers of Khalidi who were there who said rabidly anti-Israeli things. I think it's not really so much what Obama said as the fact that he stood by, as he frequently apparently did, when these rabidly anti-Israeli things were said. And I think that's probably the biggest problem with the tape.
And so they're not releasing this tape. The LA Times claims that their source specifically asked them not to do so.
Right.
But they have been writing about the tape since April. But here's my question, Andrew. Could it be that they have not talked about everything that's on the tape, and that could be one reason why they don't want to release it?
Yeah, it will be embarrassing to them if the tape came out and you had to compare the tape to the story they wrote. And that's why I think it's fascinating and kind of funny for them to be talking about journalistic ethics at this point. The time to worry about journalistic ethics is when you put the story out in the first place. Because if you're not going to release the tape, then you have a higher obligation to be accurate about what's in the tape. And remember, these are guys who want a press shield law. They want to have the protection of government so that you can't go in and subpoena their files and their reports and stuff. Well, in government, when we if you prosecute a case and you put a misleading version of something in front of the jury, if you have something in your files that shows that you gave a misleading version, you've got to put it out there. You have to surrender to the other side.
Unless, of course, Scooter Libby, in this situation, everyone wanted him just to reveal his sources. No one cared about the shield when it came to that.
Right.
Now, what do you say to people who go, yeah, let's say he was at this meeting. Let's say he liked the guy, just disagree with his views. Is there anything wrong with liking somebody and disagreeing with their views?
No, of course not. But we have to then start totaling up the number of people who he likes but disagrees with their views. He's awfully comfortable with Rashid Khalidi, who was the spokesman for Arafat. And I'd remind people, Arafat didn't just kill Israelis. Arafat gave the order to kill American diplomats in Sudan. He's very comfortable with Bernardine Dohrn and Bill Ayers. He's very comfortable with Reverend Wright. He's very comfortable with Frank Marshall Davis, a communist. You know, he's got quite a stable of people he's comfortable with, whose views, evidently, he says, he's not completely aligned with.
What do you make of this? Because the Obama campaign has now apparently told Major Garrett, one of our reporters, not the Obama campaign, but an inside Democratic source, saying that the Obama campaign is nervous about this tape being released. What does that say to you?
Well, they ought to be nervous, I would think, about it being released. And again, I think the problem is because he's comfortable with this sort of element, and they're comfortable saying rabidly anti-Israeli things in front of him without any fear that he's going to get up and say, well, you know, that's not right.
Sure.
You know, evidently this is not the only time where he sat idly, tacitly by as people went after Israel, which he says he's a staunch supporter of.
Because, Andrew, you know that if there's something explosive on the tape, the McCain camp would turn it around, it would be a commercial, it would be on television in those swing states in absolutely 15 seconds. Oh,
of course. And if there was something explosive about McCain on the tape, or on a tape, the LA Times would have it out. You know, imagine if this was a tape of a CIA tape with national security information on it that went to the protection of Americans. Any chance the LA Times wouldn't put it out?
The New York Times put it on where you click on the picture and you get to see the whole video.
All right. Andrew McCarthy, we thank you very much. He's at National Review, and his book is called Willful Blindness, a Memoir of the Jihad. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Coming up, John Funn's going to expose some breaking news on voter fraud in Ohio.
I mean, this is a game that we play. Spare me the phony outrage. It's a game. It's a sport. Spare me the phony outrage.